On Newsnight tonight, don't be despaired. All politicians are not the same. Former President Mahama seeks to offer hope to Ghanaians as he promises to engage in politics of honesty.
We in the NDC will not lie to Ghanaians. We shall continue to be sincere and engage in the politics of honesty, not the politics of convenience.
Tonight, we'll also explore the what next question after the termination of the PDS concession deal, plus ECOWAS treaty and protocol on trade and integration under threat as Nigeria continues to shut its borders with other member states in the region.
The ECOWAS protocol that we here adore so much is not sacrosanct. Nigeria is showing the way that we have to clear the mess that the ECOWAS protocol has brought to bear. ECOWAS Commission has not come out to even condemn or sanction Nigeria.
The Nigerian authorities have been speaking today and they are not backing down.
The same chemical that is used to embalm dead bodies is the same chemical that is injected into those chickens and turkeys to preserve it for our consumption. So this is how bad it is. So this is what we are trying to protect Nigerians from, and we have to do it.
And in business, Ghana Revenue Authority to freeze bank accounts of tax defaulters. With details shortly.
You want to stay with us for all that, plus at 6:30 we'll cross over and join our sports team. They'll bring you the latest commentary in the UEFA Champions League. My name is Evans Mensah. A Newsnight is brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience. Now, flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, says the NDC has learnt its lessons and humble enough to admit its mistakes. He maintains that the party is ready to provide a better leadership option to Ghanaians. At the inauguration of a 20-member manifesto committee ahead of the 2020 elections, the former president said the promises of the Akufo-Addo-led government have now turned into a grand deception. He says the manifesto will incorporate the views of the grassroots on how they want to be governed.
Ghana was held as a champion in decentralization and economic transformation. Alas, the same cannot be said today. Our people are deeply demoralized and are increasingly losing faith in our democratic experiment. As a consequence, I have heard repeatedly people throwing their hands up in the air with despair and declaring, "It is no use voting. Politicians are all the same." In all humility, I disagree. Notwithstanding the unmatched legacy of visible, impactful development acknowledged and celebrated the world over, we in the NDC are humble enough to admit our shortcomings, and we refuse to cover them up. It is this admission that has led to sober reflections and corrective measures to give Ghanaians even better leadership when the NDC and I are elected by the good people of Ghana in December 2020. This is what stands us out as the best party to give Ghana honest and efficient leadership that truly encourages both supportive and dissenting views and contributions from our citizens. Honor is an invaluable currency I do not take for granted. I stand by my words that notwithstanding the misinformation and propaganda of our opponents and their insincere promises, we in the NDC will not lie to Ghanaians. We shall continue to be sincere and engage in the politics of honesty, not the politics of convenience.
And that is the former president addressing a gathering of his party today at the launch of his manifesto team. Let me speak now to my colleague Maso Bagba, who was there for us. Who were those present at this inauguration of the committee, and who are the members?
Well, we had the top brass of the NDC present. National executives were there, the regional executives. What's supposed to be, we're told, was supposed to be just a simple ceremony, had the auditorium bursting at its seams, such that some people had to be outside with giant speakers mounted for them to listen to what the former president was saying. For the membership, for the members of the committee, we have Professor Kweku Danso Boafo, who is the chairman, He has been a Minister of Health under President Mills, and then former ambassador to Cuba and former High Commissioner to the UK. Notable names, we have Dr. Kuspio Gabra, flag bearer aspirant of the NDC minority leader.
That is an interesting one. And
Haruna Idrisu.
Spio Gabra was a challenger,
exactly,
in the flag bearership race.
Exactly.
A lot of words were exchanged in the heat of it.
Yeah.
It appears they've gone past it. We've seen a bigger
now
picture.
He's a member of the
and he's included him into the
committee.
fold. He acknowledges his worth, I guess.
Exactly.
It's part of the rivalry
Exactly.
that we know they have.
Exactly.
And this is the same man who had called some of members of the NDC under John Mills as Team B and Team A. A lot of people were upset with him.
Yeah.
It appears that he's back in the good graces of the former president. Who else is on the?
Yeah, we have Guzitano. Guzitano is also in there.
Well, that's another interesting one, obviously, because he was also a contender.
Exactly.
In the race.
Exactly. So Guzitano is in there. We have the former GNPC boss, Alexander Mode.
Oh, Alex Mode I just spoke to.
Alex Mode you just spoke to is also in there. We have the former Gender and Social Protection Minister, Nano Yelita. She's in there. Former Education Minister, Professor Jane Nano Pukwajiman, is also in there. Former High Commissioner to India, Sam P. Yale, is also in there. So it's a 20 member committee, and we understand that they'll be starting your work very soon.
I see.
Yeah.
The former president took advantage of this occasion to throw a lot of jabs.
Exactly.
We've had a bit of it on the PDS matter. What else?
Yeah.
Who else is he jabbing?
Well, he described the President Akufo-Addo-led administration as a sinking ship, and that a lot of the promises that they gave to Ghanaians have turned out to be, deception. And we've had tariffs skyrocketing and other things skyrocketing because of ill-conceived policies. Those are his words.
Today, 3 years into this administration, promises have turned out to be a grand deception. The much vaunted economic redemption has turned out to be an economic disaster in the lives of Ghanaians. As they see ship and prices of fuel and utilities skyrocketing, the quality of living from day to day. The promised prosperity has been replaced with hardship and direct consequence of either ill-conceived policies or poorly implemented programs.
John Mahama there. Well, the chairman of the party has a warning for some members.
Yes. The general view out there that every party goes for 8 years, and he's saying that the NDC is targeting or is winning the 2020 elections. Therefore, party members should not go on social media and say they are targeting 2024 and that they are going all out to win the 2020 elections, not the 2024 elections.
I want to end by sounding a warning that we don't want to be distracted with our focus on 2020. And anybody who goes on social media or anywhere and talk about 2024 cannot be part of this party. President John Dramani Mahama and NDC victory in 2020 is what we are focusing on.
Interesting. So if you don't talk about 2020 and you're looking beyond that, you will be excommunicated from the party, sacked from the party. That's strong. That you've been speaking to the chairman of the manifesto committee.
Yes, I've been asking him what's the difference with the previous manifestos and then this manifesto. He says that you're going to use what they call the bottom-up approach. So they're going down to the communities, they're going down to the constituencies. He says hitherto people sit in Accra and then draft the manifesto. Now they're going to the grassroots to gather their views and opinions, and that views and opinions would form what would become the NDC's manifesto, the People's Manifesto, he calls it.
My expectation is that we will produce a credible document. I've already indicated that everything we say here will be verifiable, testable, implementable, and will be designed to address the kinds of problems we have in this country. We're not going to be engaging in any sophistry, no. And everything will be designed towards addressing the kinds of issues we are currently facing. The previous manifesto had been based on opinions and issues and ideas from those resident in Accra. This time around, we've already announced that we're doing a bottom-up approach. We've gone through the constituency, and we'll be visiting every constituency in the country to listen to our people, solicit their views, find out what the problems are, and apply solutions to them. This is what this manifesto is going to be. And we hope that it will do the kinds of things that we want Ghanaians to be very proud of.
That is the chairman of the Manifesto Committee. What do you make of this? Plus, your views on the PDS matter are welcome. Send me a WhatsApp 0244 340 437. Now, government has officially petitioned the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to direct the Nigerian government to respect and comply with the Regional Bodies Treaty and protocols on trade and free movement of goods and people. Now, this follows the 2 months closure of all Nigerian borders with neighboring countries in what officials say is to protect the country from an influx of substandard goods and drugs. Traders in Ghana are already feeling the impact of the closure as the country awaits a response from the Nigerian government after meeting with Ghanaian officials led by the Trade and Foreign Affairs Ministers. More on the government latest position shortly. But first, the Ghana Union of Traders Association wants Ghana to retaliate. Dr. Joseph Obeng is its president.
Nigeria recognizes that, and that is not being bound by any protocol that is signed. It also showed that the ECOWAS protocol that we here adore so much is not sacrosanct, and that is not made out of a metal jacket that you cannot.
Well, talking about the petition that has been filed with ECOWAS by government, we've been speaking with a member of the ECOWAS team itself, understands the protocol. Sophia will get the details of that shortly. But we're now learning also the Chief Justice has been speaking about the ECOWAS treaties. She says the ECOWAS treaties and protocols be enforced on member states, but Ghana Chief Justice believes it's going to be difficult.
All the treaties, all the agreements, all the protocols are not commensurably reflected in the scope and jurisdiction of the court, and particularly the enforcement regime. And so there is a bit of a lag, so that the decisions of the court have found themselves very often in a limbo, and the enforcement of these decisions have been guided more by goodwill of the states rather than observance of the obligations under the treaty. As far as I'm concerned, this failure is rather anomalous within the regional mechanism that has been set within the ECOWAS. In Ghana, under our civil procedure rules and under our legal regimes, any judgment or order which does not emanate from the domestic courts is a foreign judgment or order, and its enforcement is not necessarily just simply par for the course.
Well, as of tonight, Nigeria is standing its ground. They're not budging. In fact, in the last few hours, we've been hearing from the Nigerian Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Services, Hamid Ali, and he's been addressing the Senate on the closure.
The drugs that are coming into Nigeria today, 95% of it come through our borders. Porous borders, these guys can take it through any route. Weapons. I make bold to say today, since we closed the border, the acts of banditry has reduced drastically. And our own conclusion is that two things. Either those who create this havoc cross our borders, create this havoc, and run back, or the ammunition and arms that they use, which comes at will, is no longer coming. So this act is reducing. So we felt we must compel our neighbors to agree to sign the documents that will enable us to execute the exact letter of the protocol on transit.
Well, we now know the government has filed a formal petition with ECOWAS. Deputy Trade Minister Carlos Ahinkra has been speaking to me on PM Express last night.
Yes, of course, long before now.
We filed a complaint?
Yes.
A formal complaint?
A formal complaint, even on the 41 products. Well, long before now, when they placed the ban on the 41 products. And the other one, it wasn't just us. Almost every, each of the West African countries, 15 other countries.
But on the back of this recent action?
On the back of this recent action is diplomacy. Like I said, it's diplomacy. But though, you see, Nigeria is a sovereign country. They can decide to close their border at any time. That is their prerogative. You understand? Like Ghana, we can decide to close our border. But what are we closing our border right now to? If we should close our border, there must be a reason. We are, for example, I'll give you an example. We are suffering a similar situation when it comes to textiles. You know, people are bringing textiles to our eastern borders. And this has collapsed. If it's not collapsing, all our textile industry.
We haven't done much about it.
We are doing something. We haven't done in the past. But I can tell you we're coming up with a textile policy which will stop this forever.
And that is the Deputy Trade Minister, Carlos Ahinkra. Still ahead of your news tonight, we'll fact-check claims by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the first anniversary of the Nation Builders Corps, NABCO.
Today, the data shows that this year, Ghana will be the fastest growing economy in the world.
Well, stay with us for that. Let's do business now, and Charles is here with the details. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Evan. So coming up in business, Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, to freeze bank accounts of tax defaulters, and government commits to finding a right private sector partner for the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, after terminating PDS concession agreement. Business on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN. Welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, number one-stop shop for all office essential, and First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you?
Says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call, and so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend, so hello. Look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
The best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Books and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Books and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Temba, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the 4th edition of the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair at the Junction Mall, Nungwa Barrier, from the 31st October to 3rd November at 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. Theme, Brand Ghana for Global Export. Come witness Ghanaian originality, authenticity, and rich culture as we display Ghanaian inventions, locally made clothing, shoes, bags, jewelry, and many others. Don't miss out on our exciting lineup of activities from the hottest DJ party on Friday, 1st November, the fashion, comedy, and music night on Saturday, 2nd November at 7 p.m. sharp, to cooking competitions on Sunday, 3rd November at 3 p.m. between our favorite presenters and celebrities. For further inquiries and information, please contact 055-6304-521 or 0540-106466. This event is brought to you by Joy Prime and powered by Hits 103.9 FM, sponsored by EcoBank, GTP, Media Partners. The Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair 2019.
The Love FM High School debate gets hotter and bigger. 4 schools have proven their worth and have dazzled many, gaining a spot each in the semi-finals of the 2019 edition of the Love FM High School debate. Which 2 schools get to the grand finale, and who eventually wins this year's competition? Will it be the geniuses from Opoku High School, the brilliant St. Monica's, or the giant killers St. Jerome, or the school of the moment, Tepa Senior High School? Join us at the Christian Service Auditorium this Friday, 25th October 2019 for the semi-final, and on Wednesday, 30th October for the grand finale. Time is 1 p.m. each day. The Love FM High School debate, trumpeting the voice of young ones on matters of national interest.
Joy 99.7 FM.
And you're welcome to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, says it will embark on an aggressive exercise to recover all unpaid taxes, which has been in arrears for more than a year. This exercise will involve applying to the court to grant a garnishee order to be placed on the bank accounts of defaulters until the necessary payments are made. Head of the Special Revenue Mobilization Task Force, Henry Sam, disclosed this to Joy Business.
What we'll do is that we'll come knocking at your door when you have been served with notice and we are not paying. We'll come and garnish your accounts and then close you down, and we'll do prosecutions here and there. And we don't want that to happen. So at least they have time to be able to do what is right. We expect them to do what is right. We are taking the case one after the other. At the regional level, we expect the officers to be going around to monitor compliance. At the national level, we are also backing the regional offices and then other offices to ensure that any taxpayer that does not do the right thing will be brought into the tax net, and then we will whip them to fall in line. But what we should note is that the exercise is not going to be a 9-day wonder.
Head of the Special Revenue Mobilization Task Force, Henry Sam. Now, the government has affirmed its commitment to protect jobs and attract investors to the power sector, even after terminating the Power Distribution Services PDS and Electricity Company of Ghana ECG concession agreement. According to the Minister of Information, the decision to terminate the contract is in the best interest of Ghana, as the President's ultimate interest is to protect the assets and jobs of ECG for Ghanaians. Kojo Opon Nkrumah addressed the press this morning on why government abrogated the PDS ECG concession agreement.
No jobs will be lost even in this termination process as well. It's necessary, in our view, to protect and preserve the assets of ECG and Ghanaians. $30 million already secured will be utilized to improve parts of the program, such as the primary substations, etc. Measures have been put in place to ensure a smooth transition fully to ECG. We also do not expect interruptions in power supply as a result of this decision.
Kojo Opon Nkrumah is Information Minister, and that's how we end Business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Charles. Still live here on Newsnight on Joy 99. Thank you, Charles. You're still live here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, today in terms of fact-checking, and this is Wednesday, so this is fact-checking Wednesday, and we focus on claims made by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at the closing ceremony of the NAPCO first anniversary celebration. Raymond Akwa has more on the claims and verdicts in the following report.
Let's start with the Vice President's claim that in 2016, Ghana was amongst the slowest growing economies in the developing world.
You will remember that in 2016, Ghana was amongst the slowest growing economies in the developing world, growth of about 3.6%.
This is mostly true. Ghana's growth rate of 3.4% and not 3.6% was indeed not part of the fastest growing economies in the emerging and developing economies in 2016. That notwithstanding, Ghana's growth rate was higher than that of the average for developing economies in Sub-Saharan Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean, and way lower than that of developing Asia. This is according to the IMF. Now, the Vice President also said Ghana was amongst, if not the fastest growing economies in the world in 2018.
Last year, in 2018, Ghana was also amongst, if not the fastest growing economy in the world.
This is mostly true. Ghana was in April 2018 named fastest growing economy in 2018. A position it lost even in Sub-Saharan Africa after the IMF's October World Economic Outlook Now, Ghana ended the year with 6.3% growth rate, a figure the IMF still considered very high and impressive. The vice president then said, according to the IMF, in 2019, Ghana is billed to be the fastest growing economy.
In 2019, Ghana is going to be the fastest growing economy, according to the IMF.
This is false. Even though the IMF in its April 2019 World Economic Outlook projected Ghana was going to be the fastest growing economy with 8.8% growth rate, the Bretton Woods Institution in its October 15, 2019 released World Economic Outlook revised downwards the projected GDP growth rate to 7.5%. By this revision, Ghana lost the fastest growing position even in sub-Saharan Africa. So countries like Dominica, South Sudan, Bangladesh, and Rwanda all trump Ghana, which shares its 7.5 growth rate with Cote d'Ivoire.
Raymond with fact-checking. Well, today, the Sanitation Minister, Cecilia Dapaah, has announced that in 2 weeks, there's going to be a report that will rank some 22 assemblies in the Greater Accra region. And a key indicator for the assessment of the district assemblies will be based on sanitation. And this is all part of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign that we've been on with some of the state institutions, particularly the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. The minister today joined that campaign, and she's been touring. It's been on tour since September as part of her efforts to get first-hand information on government efforts to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa. She made the revelation today when she ended that tour at the South District Assembly. Nancy Emefa-Jadosi was there and has filed this rap.
The tour began at the Hussein Global Plastic Recycling Plant in the Wejak-Bawe municipality. For 20 Ghana cedis a day, these men and women shred plastic waste and remold them into cups and buckets. According to them, the cost of treating respiratory conditions leaves them in debt at the end of the month. Kumi has just been working here for 3 months.
Oh, as you see this rack, sometimes that's what we use just to cover our nose and all those things. At the end of the day, you feel like there's dust in you. So it's about 1 week, 2 weeks now. Some have not been coming to work because of that.
The sanitation minister tasked owners of the facility to improve sanitation conditions and provide gloves, nose masks, and safety goggles for every worker. On our way out of the municipality, the team spotted a sanitation situation that needed urgent attention. The sanitation minister gave the MC up to the end of November to give each household a waste bin.
So your one house, one bin is not working. I'm giving you up to the end of November. We'll write formally to you. Whoever doesn't do it, I'll break your leg. And you understand. We will not countenance that.
She continued to the South municipality and toured the Galilea market. Fish was left in the open at the mercy of flies.
Connect. Because we say once lands for Monterey.
Rubbish was also left in the open.
At
the transfer site, though, the minister tasked the MC to improve conditions there.
If it's full, lift it. Call them to come and lift.
She led the team to the Kaswato booth where hawkers had littered the area.
You see, we are not against them doing their business, but we are against them totally when they do make a mess.
They were ordered to clean the mess. They obliged. The sanitation minister Cecilia Dapaah has over the last 2 months visited 22 out of 23 assemblies in the Greater Accra region.
I rank them as soon as I enter your jurisdiction. Without your knowledge, I start ranking because these are low-hanging fruits we need to pluck. Sanitation is a serious issue, and we need to enforce the bylaws.
Her next tour will be in the Ashanti region.
MF Adredrosi filed that report. And just before we go and cross over to the sports team, I want to share with you a few of your messages on our WhatsApp platform. Haji Hamza says cancelling the deal with the PDS is not over until it is over. PDS has been in charge of our assets for the last few months, and they should be ready to account to the good people of this country how much they collected. Kofi says, why should we be bothered that Ghana is going to lose $190 million from the American government when our president has been preaching Ghana beyond aid? This is a litmus test for Ghana beyond aid mantra. Fuad says, Evans, I think that's a fantastic manifesto team set up by the former president. I wish them well, and I hope the manifesto will reflect the real situation in Ghana. And the final one says, ECOWAS and Nigeria closing land borders. We are talking of adopting one currency next year. Please, we are not ready for that. And that's it for News Night tonight. We're crossing over to the sports team. They have commentary for you tonight in the UEFA Champions League. Stay with us.